people that are out of work that didn't normally apply. I know there's been a lot of people that have come in to apply for the program that I've talked to that have mentioned that, you know, they had a job before and now they, you know, they've never had to get this kind of assistance.
Good evening and welcome to Captions. I'm Andre Bohannon, your host, and again I want to thank you for choosing Captions and allowing us to come into your homes. Tonight we're going to specialize and focus, spotlight a very important agency in this community, which happens to be our sponsor, PCCEO, the Community Action Agency. We're going to be talking about some of the programs that they provide to many of you throughout our community. As you can see, in this segment, I have two special guests sitting beside me. I have sitting to my left, Martha Williams Hunter, and to her left, I have Barbara Shreves. Ladies, welcome to Captions.
Thank you. Thank you.
As I indicated in my introduction, we're going to focus on your employer, the Community Action Agency, and the various services that are provided. Martha, in which department do you work?
I work in the Housing Services Department. I'm the Housing Services Specialist that administer our emergency services.
Fantastic. And you, Martha, what area are you responsible for? Martha?
Barbara.
No, I'm sorry, Barbara.
I'm at the Peoria Food Bank. And
Fantastic.
of course, our objective is to help feed hungry people. We serve 8 counties that surround Peoria, including Peoria County, and service and help to feed around 9,700 people a week through our member agencies.
I was going to say, I would imagine that with the economic times we're now faced with, the need for food services is probably on an increase, am I correct?
80% of the pantries in the past year have reported, you know, almost a 30% increase in the services that they provide.
And what the food bank does is provide food to the pantries. So individuals go to the separate pantries in their locations, but the food basically comes from the food bank here at PCCEO.
Yes, we try to provide nutritious food, and of course our wonderful pantries do all of the work. They distribute the food to the hungry people, and we have about 120 of them.
I see. Where do you get the food to give to the pantries?
We purchase the food from various vendors throughout the United States. We also purchase food from America's Second Harvest, of which we are a member, and we do food drives and wonderful donations throughout the community.
When you say you do food drives, can you give an example of what that would be?
Sure. Different organizations and schools will conduct a food drive at various times of the year. Everybody, you know, sometimes they run a little contest in between each department, and they will bring in canned foods, dry goods, hygiene products, and so it's just various food drives throughout the communities.
So it's a community effort to help the community.
Absolutely.
You receive the food from the community that goes right back into the community.
Back into the community. We also are a partner with Walmart. We do what we call a store donation program. And we pick up food from Walmart 2 or 3 times a week from the various Walmarts, the supercenters, and we also work with Sam's, and they provide us just thousands of pounds of food throughout the year that we can distribute to the pantries.
Well, that's great. speaking of those stores, at one time I thought, and maybe I'm right or wrong, but has there ever been a connection with the Kroger stores?
Oh yes, Kroger's is great, yes. Yeah, I forgot to mention Kroger's. Kroger's has been a long time supporter of all of the food banks. There are 8 food banks throughout the state of Illinois, and that we are associated with. And so it's called the Illinois Feeding Illinois Association. And we work together to make sure that our communities are getting nutritious food. So a lot of the food comes from that.
Okay. I know we often hear about all the national efforts. In fact, what happened recently in Haiti and sending food and things like that, which is certainly needed, and I certainly support people to continue to contribute in whatever way is possible. But right here in Central Illinois, we have people who are in need of food. And,
through our food bank, through the 8 food banks that belong to the state association, we serve almost 900,000 people.
My Lord.
There's a lot of hungry people out there.
Okay. Well, Martha, in addition to people needing to eat, they also need to have a place to stay. When you talk about housing services, what does that entail? What do
Actually,
you do?
we provide emergency services that not only include emergency rental assistance to homeless and at risk, we also provide food vouchers.
I see.
So we don't provide the product that, through our food bank, but we provide vouchers to one of our main vendors that we refer the vouchers to is Allwyn Brothers. So
Allwyn Brothers, okay.
Usually, and we provide emergency rental, emergency food vouchers, prescription vouchers as well. Usually, the years past, we provided vouchers to elderly and disabled. So recently, we've expanded that program to any individual that fit within our income guidelines.
So when it says emergency housing services, are there any other things other than the vouchers that you give to people? Does that include emergency housing problems that they may have as far as the physical, or does that fall under another program with the agency?
Basically, we don't have housing, the actual housing. We do referrals in that area.
I see. Okay.
But we do have a housing program under our agency that if they happen to come through our program and need additional services, that's what we will do, is refer them to that OPAR, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Approximately how many families or individuals are you able to serve through your services?
Usually the average amount annually for emergency rental is approximately 400 families.
Wow.
But this year, we're able to serve a lot more because of stimulus funding.
Okay.
So we are taking more we've taken more applications since January than we usually take in probably like 6 or 7 months. So we have quite a bit. So if you're eligible and within our income guideline and have some type of documented hardship, we're here to help.
How would a person apply to find out if they are eligible? What
you could either come into our office or call 671-3900, which is our number here. And
which department, or who would they ask for, or which
you
department?
could call the Emergency Services Department or Housing Services Department. And we'll assess the situation and see if we could help.
And it's based on income guidelines?
It's based on your income. And as far as rental, you would have to be homeless or at risk. At risk, you would have to have an eviction notice. And as far as food, you would just not have to, you can't have a regular allotment of food, like food stamps. If you already get food stamps, you're ineligible. But if you don't, you can apply for a permanent source, and we'll give you a temporary source, which would be a voucher.
I see.